Welcome to the Media Bubble Podcast, the podcast that talks about all geeky media related topics. I'm Fredrik and he's Karol. Let's get the show on the road. So, in today's episode, we're going to, as you can see in the intro, probably talk about the 10 different Disney shorts that I have recommended to Karol, which I gave him a list of 10 different shorts to watch. And Karol has never really watched Disney shorts before. Have you ever seen one before this, Karol?
I mean, some of at least two of them were pretty well known. So I have seen Steamboat Willie, and then I also have seen Three Little Piggies.
Three Little Piggies.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like a staple in like animation, right? Like everybody should have seen this.
Yeah, but I just thought, because you have always said that you have never really watched this, so let's see. As I said, I recommended him 10 different shorts to watch, and I watched all of them myself, also pretty recently, just to kind of be on the same page. And there's a specific reason why I chose the shorts. It's kind of to give a bigger perspective on all kind of different Disney shorts. So how this is going to work is that I'm probably going to present the cartoon, and then Karol is going to talk about what it's about and what he felt about it. And then I'm going to talk about why I chose that cartoon.
Sounds good to me.
So,
because it's so before we start, I'm also quite wondering why you chose these specific movies. Because when I asked you, you didn't want to see a peep. You saved everything for the episode.
I'm kind of also curious. Something that I am prepared for is that I see these cartoons in a very different light, because I grew up with Disney cartoons. I watched them as a child. Karol doesn't really have those same eyes as
I
me.
didn't.
Yeah.
I had help with some tequila to go through of these.
So I guess let's get started with Steamboat Willie, which was the first produced Mickey Mouse cartoon released 18th November 1928.
Yeah, so Steamboat Willie, if you're anything into like animation or movies or like Disney, you know that Steamboat Willie is the first appearance of Mickey Mouse. Well, not first, because there's like one previous before this movie, but it's like his first official as a character.
Yeah,
right?
how this works is that it's not the first created Mickey Mouse short, but it was the first that got a producer, so it was the first that really was seen by a public.
But I mean, I enjoyed it quite a lot. It had a nice like rubber hose animation. We saw a little bit of like Proto Pete. What's the captain's name? Is it Willie?
No way. Do you mean the cat? It's Pete.
Oh, okay. Because
Pete,
I was
or just Pete, I guess.
Because later iterations of Pete don't have like a peg leg, or he's not a sailor anymore. Well, that's why I didn't think that they were the same character.
This is an early version of him.
And I will say, like I unironically liked Mickey's design more in this than his current design.
What?
Yeah, because I don't know, it just feels to me that he's like more cheeky and more like bratty, whilst in current media, or at least I'm thinking like Kingdom Hearts, what they did to him with the eyes. I'm just thinking like, oh, that's a multimedia $1 million corporation mascot right here. Like, he's too clean, too aerodynamic. There's not a lot of character.
Okay, how did you feel about the short itself?
I liked that it had a musical number, which I didn't even remember, honestly. And I applaud that Minnie ran so fast in heels. Go, Queen.
Okay, just to give a bit of a story about Steamboat Willie. It's kind of a Mickey is a ship boy or a sailor, I guess you can say, on this
a seaman.
Yeah, on this boat, and it's kind of just how he works on the boat and takes care of animals that gets into the boat, I can say.
I mean, care is a strong word, seeing that he plays them like instruments for his girlfriend.
That's kind of something that you kind of are reminded on when you watch these old cartoons is some things some things would not have been seen today, like how Mickey treats some of these animals.
Yeah. Well, you asked me not to look up some of the information about these, but I was specifically looking for the name of Pete's character, if there was something else, and I kind of glimpsed that in the later releases they kind of like cut off some of the material when he was playing like the pigs, like trumpets, because it was found not to be suitable for audiences.
Okay, so what did you feel about the cartoon in a whole? Did you like?
I mean, I can quantify it. For each short, I wrote a 10 out of 10 for art and story.
Okay, what did you give this one?
So for art, I give it a 7 out of 10 because I enjoyed the art style. I liked the rubber hose and I enjoyed the designs of the characters. For story, 3 out of 10. I what was it even about? It was just shenanigans on a boat.
Yeah, this is also one of the very first cartoons or media in any kind that had sound at the time. So it's what's kind of new in that way. It's kind of what made Mickey Mouse so popular in the beginning. And the reason why I chose this cartoon is kind of simple, to be honest. It's the first Mickey Mouse cartoon.
And seeing how much you love Disney, it makes sense.
Okay, let's move on, and let's have our first of two Donald Duck shorts with Chef Donald. Carol?
Yeah. So this one, since I scrambled at the last minute to get a Disney Plus membership, because I finally caved in due to panic.
You told me that you already had one.
Well, it wasn't mine. I gotten it from my friend, but I couldn't find the password. I'm thinking like, oh my god, I have half an hour before like doing this with you. I don't have internet, so.
Well, you should not have watched this one half an hour before we record for the first thing. It's kind of rude.
I didn't have internet.
You could have watched this yesterday or something like that.
Yes, but yesterday I was busy.
There are some other days.
Well, anyways. So, going back to me caving in and getting the membership, I didn't change the options to English, so I actually seen this in Swedish.
Okay.
I mean, there's a little difference. You still cannot. You can still barely understand what Donald Duck is saying.
Well, they don't really talk that much in these shorts, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Well, in this one they did, seeing that Donald Duck is following the instructions of the radio voice.
Yeah, actually, when I think about the song that plays on the radio, was that in English or Swedish?
It's not a song. Like, Donald Duck is following a recipe from the radio.
Yeah, but there was a little bit of a song in there, wasn't there?
Maybe in the beginning, because I don't remember.
Well, anyway, honestly. What did you think of the cartoon?
Let me check my notes.
What was it about?
Donald Duck was just making waffles, following the recipe from the radio. Before that, he was also collecting his own recipes, and for some reason, he also had a recipe for roasted duck, which begs me to question, are people ducks or people not ducks? What about the chickens? What differentiates chicken from a duck? What are the rules in this universe?
Carol, that was kind of the joke that he got angry because there was a duck recipe.
I know, but it still makes me, it's still funny because he himself cut that out from the newspaper and he intended to like paste it in his book. Like he did it all himself. He could have stopped up any step of the way.
Well, because of that book, he also has some glue on the table.
Yeah, and he mixed it in with pancakes. So it kind of turned out to be like cosplay, like fake pancakes instead of real ones. I mean, waffles. Uh, for our story, I wrote that it was cute. Uh, Although I didn't laugh a single time, which made it a 5 out of 10.
Animation?
Animation 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite whimsical, but I said that's why I needed tequila, because some of these shows really didn't grab my attention.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, I could have given it lower, but there's another one that I didn't like.
That makes no sense to me. Okay, I'm just going to.
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to take that in and I just want to explain that this short is about Donald. Donald Duck's shorts are very really what most Donald Duck shorts are is trying to get Donald Duck angry. And in this, because he glued the waffles with glue, he has a hard time of baking the waffles, and that's kind of what the trouble is, and what makes him angry in this short is because he can't really get the waffles stew right.
I mean, you know that if not for the end, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10 for the story as well.
It's not about the story, it's about having a bit of fun.
But where was the fun?
In him getting angry at that it doesn't work making waffles.
But that's just mean. I'm just egging you on. I understand that that's the point of the joke, to make him funny. It's just that I don't know. The slapstick didn't hit me as well as in the other ones.
Well, it's not like I laughed out loud of it, but I still kind of enjoyed it. Well,
then why are you? I'm sorry I've made you upset. I will revere Donald Duck. I swear.
Well,
he's my prophet and God, and I will kneel before him once the raptor comes.
Carol, I didn't expect you to like it. It's just, I didn't think that you would have this hard of time getting the point.
I got the point. It's just I'm sorry. I hope you don't misunderstand.
Do you need a deep story in a 7-minute short?
No, but this short has to at least make me entertained, which it didn't make me.
Okay, why I chose this short is kind of to show Donald Duck in his most natural form, in this way of kind of getting him angry in some kind of objects of way. So the next short is Pluto's Housewarming, which is a Pluto cartoon.
Yeah, easily the worst one. Like, I'm glad to get this out of the way. I absolutely loathed this. This is where tequila came in.
Is this the worst one for you?
Yeah, I dread it. Like, I know this is like only 5 minutes, but around like 2.5 minutes, I was wondering, when will this end?
Okay.
It's just like, I don't know, it's like, yeah, Pluto has a house in the middle of the beach, and there's a turtle that's egging him on. But it's not funny. Where's the jokes? Where's the fun? Where's like, there's just chasing each other in and out of the house. There's like, the turtle eats a bone. That's not funny. That's just stuff happening.
Well, this is not really one of my favorite Pluto shorts, to be honest, but I kind of chose this short specifically because it shows two different things that were frequent in Pluto shorts. And one is him kind of getting annoyed or angry at a smaller animal, and two, the other dog that you see later on in the short, how Pluto gets how fights with that dog. So it's kind of why I chose this specific cartoon. But Carol, you didn't explain the story when I think about it.
I mean, I drank.
You just went straight to the tequila. You're not very good at explaining shorts, I'm noticing.
I mean, yeah, that is true. But if I could summarize, for the story, I gave it a 2 out of 10, which is the lowest score of them all.
Okay.
For the art, 3 out of 10. Like,
what is wrong with the art? I don't get this. What is wrong with the art for you?
I think because it relied so heavily on slapstick, but that didn't make me laugh. My opinion from the story kinda moved over to the art as well. Because like if the humor is relying on the slapstick, then and the slapstick doesn't work, then it's a problem with the art.
This is the best art that existed at that time. It was it was much better than any other of the competitors.
Well, so what? Okay, good. I see that it was quite good at the time.
It's good today.
It's still bad. It's not.
It is. I don't understand this.
I don't mean that it looks awful and that it's like like my eyes are burning once I see it. I just think like it like okay, they're chasing, but there aren't like okay. So for example, in the later, I'll if we put a pin in this, I'll explain my logic behind this judgment when I explain the other shorts.
Okay, let's go to the next short in that case. Who Killed Cocked Robin, which is the first Silly Symphony short, and Silly Symphony shorts are kind of their own original stories, you can say. So, Carol?
You don't have to worry, I actually like this one.
Okay.
Because there, I mean, as you said, I'm not looking for a very heavy story, but at least I look for like a red thread that we can follow. And it was fun. It wasn't action-packed, but I liked that the musical number was about like a trial. I was quite shocked that they killed a bird live on screen in a Disney short, even though it was like later explained. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the short follows a songbird called Cock Robin, and as he's singing his little heart out to Miss Penny at her balcony, he's being shot with an arrow from the distance. His body falls flat through the trees, and he lands squarely on the bottom, presumably dead. The police is called. There's an investigation, and 3 suspects are brought into court to question and figure out who killed Mr. Robin. And we have the judge asking questions. We see like every single suspect answers differently. What's their vibes? One of them is apologetic. The other one is like a bad dude. The third one is completely cuckoo, because he also is like a cuckoo bird. And at the end, we learn that in fact it was a Cupid that shot Mr. Robin, and he wasn't really dead at all. He just hit his head and he was unconscious.
Yeah, and they're singing and dancing throughout the whole short.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the panache and the animation on Miss Penny, because it was just like, it's exactly that burlesque high damn that was all the rage at the time, and she just embodied that feeling. I like that all the suspects were different. I loved how the jury was. I mean, this was just a mock court to just blame someone. I love that the lyrics in the song were somebody's gotta be hung, like that they were just gonna be hang all of them, which was another dark theme that I enjoyed.
Yeah. As I said, it was kind of made in a different time.
So out of art, I gave it 8 out of 10. And for the story, also 8 out of 10.
Hooray!
See, I can also like stuff sometimes.
Yeah, and the reason why I chose this, I don't know, I kind of just took an Silly Symphony short that I enjoyed. And this one I kind of find a bit fun with the singing and Yeah. So, to the next short, and I put this one specifically because I thought you were going to take this the lowest, but apparently Pluto beat it. We have Fiddling Around, a Mickey Mouse black, an early Mickey Mouse black and white short.
And I have mixed feelings about this one.
Yeah.
I can already feel what you're gonna say to me, but I loved the art style and I liked the movement of the characters because the short is about Mickey Mouse. He is on stage and he is playing his fiddle. He plays 3 songs, and with each song we have like a different feeling, different scene, different movements and emotions. And at the end of it, he bows and he leaves the stage. Quite simple. I loved how he was animated, like all the different expressions of his face, the elation, the sheepish smiles that he did once his fiddle like was malfunctioning, like when he was crying, even though it was annoying when he was audibly crying, like the tears would be enough. How they animated the shadow as well, and it was like elongated at the ends. That just like whole, even though it was in black and white, I really enjoyed how it looked. I really did not enjoy the audio. I don't understand why would you make him cry in the middle of the performance, because it really took you out of the performance. It's like, okay, the music is nice, the animation is nice, but his crying is so irritating. Why? Same time at the same thing with the hee hee ha ha's at the beginning, with the what you call it, people who just laugh to make you nervous. Like, okay, we get it, but it's also not like pleasant to hear. So for the art, also the backgrounds were also pretty cute. Not like really detailed, but it was like scene appropriate, and there were also like some care put into it.
Background, there wasn't there just a carpet in the background?
Not really. They did some scene transitions between songs. And also when he played his fiddle, sometimes there was this like light showing like on spotlight on the Mickey with the shadow in the background. Sometimes there were not. There was a little diversity.
What did you give this for score?
For the art, I gave it 9 out of 10. Because it felt artistic. It felt really nice. For story, 2 out of 10. Because yeah, no story and also weird choices with Mickey crying.
I'm in shock right now. Like my choosing of this cartoon is what I was thinking. I want to give Carol a really bad cartoon, and what was I thinking of? The ones that were really boring were the ones that was early black and white Mickey cartoons. A little bit later, Mickey Mouse black and white cartoons are all right, but the famous cartoons are kind of the ones that are in color. So I was thinking, what is like the most boring, worst cartoon I could think of? And I come up with Fiddling Around, or as this sometimes is called, just Mickey. Because that is kind of what this just is. It's kind of just Mickey Mouse standing in the same place, playing an instrument, singing badly, and you somehow talk positively about it.
But I mean, I'm not disagreeing because it is just Mickey Mouse standing around and playing a fiddle, and he's not doing much. But just like how animated he is, like all the different poses, all the different facial expressions, made it interesting to watch. While like Pluto's, what's his name? Pluto's
as I said,
I was not interested at all.
Well, I didn't expect you to like that one either, to be honest.
But but I have to say, like, yeah, Fiddling Around, it was really pretty and artistic, but it was also boring. Like, I have to agree, it wasn't like the highs of the heights.
Okay, this is going unexpected for me, so let's go to the next one, which is the only goofy cartoon I took into this 10 short list, and we have Tennis Racquet.
Yeah, I've wrote starring Goofy, so an automatic win.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can just go out of the bat, this is the best one.
This is the best one of them all.
Yeah, I thoroughly think so.
Okay.
So the short is about a tennis match between two tennis players. And as the match goes on, we have a commentator commentating on the whole thing. We have an audience reacting, like their head is just swiveling around, trying to follow the ball. We have the ball like going underground and still being like shot. We have like water going over the net, and the ball swinging so fast it cuts off the water mid-air, and it just like stays there for effect. We had trees growing out of on the tennis field. We have the commentator not knowing what the score is, like what is happening, and I also felt like this whole short was really sarcastic.
Mm.
Because there's like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like the viewers are just coming in, they're really pucking them in tightly, and then it zooms out and it's just a small little square of people sitting really tightly to each other. Or when the commentator turned on slow motion commentating, and everything just like, yeah, great humor, great animation. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this goofy short is. So my reason of taking just this one is that goofy shorts can be put into three different categories. This is one of them where the goofy shorts is kind of just a lot of characters that looks like goofy, but I guess aren't goofy in some way. There are different goofy versions, I guess, but anyway, and Goofy also had a lot of shorts where he was starring in sports and doing kind of different stuff in different sports, and I took this tennis short as I felt like this kind of was simple enough to follow. It's just two goofies that's playing against each other with some fun things happening all the time.
Yeah, but this is the short I wanted to talk about when comparing to the Pluto's housewarming one, because there's so many visual gags going on as the game goes on. Like, for example, when the commentator said, "And they're gonna be playing on this very well kept field," and you switch the scene, and it's just someone like going in with a scythe, mowing the whole place like a farmhand. And it's like on this evening, Saturday afternoon, as the people are leisurely going into the stadium, and we just see like this people stressed in cars waiting for for the parking. Like, I like this juxtaposition mixed with sarcasm.
Yeah, this is probably the one I enjoyed the second most, at least, when I rewatched all of these.
Have we not seen the one you enjoyed the most yet?
No.
Okay.
I
Well, color me surprised.
Well, to be honest, of these 6 that we have talked about, there is 3 actually that I enjoy. Chef Donald, Who Killed Cock Robin, and Tennis Racquet are 3 shorts that I really enjoyed. The other 3 is somewhat mixed upon, but anyway.
That explains your reaction to the Chef Donald one.
Well, anyway,
but,
let's continue with our second Donald short, and this time I chose one that also starred Chip and Dale. That's kind of becoming a continuing thing on our channel, I feel like, but this...
Yeah, this is the 3rd episode they end up in.
Yeah, out on a limb.
Yes, so in this one, we have our main guy, Donald Duck, and he is about to cut off some branches from the tree he hopefully owns, and he's about to just cut it down, cut it in size, make it more manageable. But he hasn't seen that the tree has occupants, which is Chip and Dale. Well, he sees and he decides to mess with the chipmunks, and he cuts their entrance to their house. And then he bullies them and chases them with a pair of scissors. And he eats their nuts. And that's when I understood that Donald Duck is a messy B-word who lives who lives to cause problems, because it makes him feel good.
Okay.
And yeah, I wrote a messy bee who lives for drama. Um, the backgrounds were nice. I had to add. And as they were chasing around, being chased around by Donald, he climbs up the tree, and then the chipmunks kill him on a power line.
Well, he's a cartoon character, so he doesn't really die, but yeah.
But that would be equivalent to dead.
Yeah.
So for story, I gave it 6 out of 10. For the art, 7 out of 10 because I enjoyed the backgrounds.
Hooray! Okay, Ship and or Out on a Limb. I chose this one. Donald Duck's shorts are a lot of time starred Donald fighting some kind of smaller creature than himself for some reason. And the most
Can I just pinpoint the similarities between Pluto and Donald Duck?
okay.
Because they both get angry and they also both fight things smaller than them.
Well, I don't feel like Pluto shorts are always about him getting angry. Pluto shorts is more him just being a normal or a dog, you can say.
I have a question about this, but I'll ask it at the end of the episode.
Why I chose this Chip and Dale of these small creatures are usually known as the most famous that came from that kind of from those kind of shorts. So I chose a Chip and Dale short. So let's go to our next short, which is Boat Builders, which is a trio episode with Mickey, Donald, and Goofy.
That's what I wrote, that Goofy is a slut. Well, anyway, so the short is about the gang, which is in this case Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, and they build a boat that they will christen Queen Minnie. They have a skeleton that they build upon, and they get into shenanigans. Lots of visual gags, but not as strong as in badminton. Goofy is romancing a statue, quite successfully, I have to add. And at the end, once they finish a ship, the ship sinks as it as it starts to unroll and fold, and in the other cartoons when there's everything has a neat practical way they can build it, it just becomes undoes itself and it falls apart.
Yeah, well, they didn't build it in the most secure way, I guess.
I have to add, during Christmas, how in Sweden they usually show a lot of Disney movies.
Yes.
Usually they also show one where the gang is going on a road trip in a caravan or a housemobile.
Yeah,
How do you say
yeah,
it?
but this isn't that one, Carol.
I know, but I just wanted to say that it reminds me a lot of that one. Seeing that all of the parts, how they build the ship, they have it's the same kind of way how it all unfolds and rolls and builds up and switches.
Okay,
It's
I can
it's really remarkable, really this feeling that carries over between the shorts.
Okay, I can understand what you mean. And something that surprised me is that you have watched the Donald Duck Christmas special.
I mean, I live in Sweden for so long, so sometimes I catch the Christmas specials.
Oh, okay. Why I chose this one? I wanted trio episode because they were kind of usual for a while, where they teamed Mickey, Donald, and Goofy up, and I chose one that I'm not sure if this is one of the most famous trios episode, but I just kind of felt like this one was kind of in the middle, not on the bad side, not on the best side, but kind of just in the middle, kind of enjoying, kind of short.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as you said, it's in the middle. It's not spectacular, but it's not the worst. For the art, I gave it initially 4 out of 10, but now that I think about it, I'm gonna say 5 out of 10 because of all the fun animation as everything is rolling out. Story, nothing to brag about, but it's also 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not spectacular.
Okay, sure. I remember when I rewatched this, and I just noticed how hungry Goofy was for that mermaid.
Yeah, But yeah, that was weird. But as I said, maybe Goofy is just a slut.
Maybe. Well, let's go to the next short, Three Little Pigs. Carol?
Yes. So, Three Little Piggies is the classical tale from Brothers Grimm about three pigs who each build a house, one of straw, one of sticks, one of bricks, and they're visited by a big bad wolf who wants to eat them up. He blows and he blows and he blows on the houses, each one of them falling down like dominoes. And at the end, the piggies who didn't build their houses sturdy enough and were bullying their brother or acquaintance who built their houses of sturdy materials, they all hide in the brick house and somehow they survive the attack. Um, I mean, yeah, Three Little Piggies. This is the one everybody knows.
Is this the one everybody knows?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think that this along with Steamboat Willie, this is the short that everyone has the most chance of seeing.
Okay.
I didn't remember that it had a musical number, to be honest, when I watched this.
Really? That's what.
No,
I feel like that is one of the most famous thing about this specific short.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just that I felt like it would be a more straightforward story with a moral, and not like the piggies singing actually the song.
Yeah. What I can say about this short is actually if you look in the background of this picture, Carol, where these three are playing, and you see in the background there are some sausage there with some little words.
Yeah, father.
Mm. I noticed that for the first time when we rewatched this, and I just found it to be a dark little detail.
I mean, if you want to keep the ball rolling, we can maybe wonder how did their father end up like that? Is it like a common retirement plan for old pigs? Did he do it to himself? Is it like I don't know, like a dark joke that they just have in their house?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well,
I also wrote one last thing, because yes, you can think the moral of the story was you should prepare when you can and not be layabout. But what if instead of preparing, you just need to know someone who prepared?
Well,
Be a leech.
Okay. Instead of doing the things yourself, just use some other friend who does it.
Exactly, which is a very bad moral.
Well, the reason why I chose the Three Little Pigs, as you said, this is one of the more famous one, and it's also one of the reasons why Disney was able to make his first animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because this short was so incredibly popular when it came out, and that song that you heard, Carol, that's apparently that became a kind of a hit for the Disney company, and they made much money off just this specific short. Yeah, and
I mean, I can believe that. It's not. It was nicely produced, and as you mentioned, this was like the top-notch quality at the time. So I can see why it made them a lot of money.
There's also a little bit of a thing in this short where there's one specific scene that has not aged that well, that they have replaced with some other animation, and one of the times when the wolf is wanting to get in and knocks on the door, he is dressed as a Jew.
As a what?
A Jew. A stereotypical Jew.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's the
because in the current short he's dressed as a sheep, but they changed it from him being a Jew.
No, and that part comes later on. That specific instant, it's when he knocks on the brick house, and he doesn't have a mask in the version you watch, I think, but in in the original version, he he is dressed as a you at that point in time. As I said, some of the things in these shorts haven't really aged that well.
Yeah, I mean it's bad, but we also have to like they tried to change it, and it's also like we cannot forget this is a product of its time.
Yeah.
So we have to be mindful, like
There's also
of it.
there's also something that you can learn about history at the same time,
Yeah,
about how, yeah,
that
how
Jews were
things
used
were.
as a yeah as Jews were like used as a stereotypical joke.
Mm.
Uh,
Which is wrong to today, but yeah, or it was always wrong, to be honest.
I mean, I agree. Like, but like as you see, like for us, it's natural to not be to try not to be prejudiced against other religions. But back then it wasn't as clear.
Mm.
There were acceptable targets to make fun of.
Yeah. On that note, let's get to the last short then. Brave Little
Oh,
Tailor, the last
yeah.
one starring Mickey Mouse.
So this was a little bit of a surprise because I haven't heard about the story at all. Uh, but if I can derail just a little bit, you know how in D23 Expo we talked about the card game that Disney produced quite recently.
Yeah.
So one of the cards, I think it's Brave Mickey, is inspired by this short,
Yeah,
which
I actually own a little bit of a mini figure with this specific Mickey also.
so it's actually like quite a not vital, just but it's like a how can I say it
Famous.
exactly piece of work which I didn't know about.
What did you feel about the short?
I
Or
think it was great.
what did you? Can you explain the story a little bit, maybe?
Okay, so we have Mickey starring as a tailor in a medieval village, and due to miscommunication, he admits to killing a giant. But he's a tailor, so he didn't kill a giant. But he is promised a hand in marriage of the kingdom's princess. So he tries his best, and he goes out and he tries to figure out what to do from now. Uh, he also stumbles upon a giant on the way there, and he defeats them. Not through bloodshed, but uh, he like traps one of Giant's hand in his own shirt. He sews it together, and then he tugs at its nose, and the giant falls. As the giant is subdued, they build a theme park around him, powered by his snores, and the scene ends. Did I summarize it correctly? Did I miss
Yeah,
anything?
that was good, Carol. Uh, what did you feel about it?
Yeah, I wrote that Michael the Rat is a liar because he lied, and that's bad, and he shouldn't lie. Bad Michael.
Wasn't it Mickey?
Yeah. But Michael the Rat sounds funnier.
Okay.
I also wrote a lot of weird shit in my notes, which I can't say out loud. Um, I was also surprised when the giant just picked up a big stack of hay and rolled a fat blunt and started smoking it on screen.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely not something they'd get away now in movies.
No, now they're yeah they didn't even have a smoke in the newest Pinocchio film that kind of is showing that it's bad to be smoking.
Yeah, which just shows how much our attitudes about smoking have changed to the point where it's actually like detracting from the story with deleting it.
Mm. So why I chose this specific short is that this short, when this was made after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney wanted to produce a Mickey Mouse short that was kind of in the same production quality of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but in a short starring Mickey Mouse. And this was kind of what came out of it. And this Mickey Mouse short is kind of also famous and ranked very highly. Like this is almost always the short when they rank Disney cartoons that always get like the highest placement.
Really?
Yeah.
It's weird because I mean I'm interested in animation and I tend to watch movies, but I was totally unaware about this short being so significant.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's that incredibly famous. I'm not sure if there are any
But it's acclaimed.
shorts that are that famous, but yeah.
All right. I mean, you learn something new every day, I suppose.
So, also one thing that I want to explain now when we're done with watching all 10 is when I watched these 10 in a row, I didn't enjoy it that much because I feel like if you're going to watch these shorts, you should do it in a more
Casual way?
yeah, casual environment and casual just watching them, because I like when you watch it in a kind of list like this, you're kind of starting to look for critiques and things and not just enjoying it. I felt like.
Yeah, I have to agree because how we're consuming the media for the podcast and just on our free time affects our enjoyment out of it. And I feel like because like you picked out 10 movies, 10 shorts, that's already like 70 minutes of shorts, which maybe works best on their own in small chunks, but not like as a compilation like that's an hour long.
Yeah, maybe I just felt like when you're looking at this way, you're looking for to kind of critique it, and that's not usually how I watch shorts. I kind of just watch them to enjoy them.
Yeah, but you're also right. I feel
So,
like because like yeah, because you're like in this like in the zone like, oh, if I'm gonna talk about it, it's probably best to bring something bad about it. So you're not enjoying yourself fully.
well, now when we're done with watching all 10, what did you think of this, Carol?
Uh, I didn't. I think to be safe, I'm gonna give Brave Little Tailor 8 and 8 out of 10 for art and story, and of the whole episode, I feel like, well, I'm kind of glad you showed me all of these shorts because I don't think I'd see them on my own. Like I don't think I would have incentive to see them.
Like, was it interesting? I know that you probably didn't have the world's greatest time, but was it at least interesting?
It was interesting. As I said, I had to take tequila when I watched Pluto's house, and I wasn't really thrilled by Cooking Donald. But other than that, it was quite nice.
So the two that you disliked the most were two after the first three.
Exactly, which made it easier actually to watch later. The
Okay.
later ones. Like it only went up from there. But I actually had a question because we're nearing the end. So, what's the deal with Pluto and Goofy?
Well, they're both dogs. That is confirmed.
Exactly.
This is the 30s, Carol. They didn't really give explanations.
Maybe it's the best if we don't delve into this one. I think maybe they have the right idea to just have some dogs be dogs and some dogs be humans. In that case, as always, thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have. Don't forget to follow, hit that bell icon, or follow us on socials like Twitter. See you again in the next episode, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.